just see if I can open it up in one second. Okay, I think I've got it. Yeah. Okay. Morning, everyone. This is Elly. I was thinking of investing in Cineworld, and
you mentioned that during the presentation. You like the cinema.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought, let me just use this opportunity to investigate and find out if that's what I want to do or not. So okay, so the UK economy, I started off doing my fundamental analysis from the country level.
Well done.
Someone has mentioned it before. The UK economy, the UK is the 6th largest economy in the world, and you can see the GDP is 2.83 trillion, and I got that from Investopedia. And I had to look at the metrics just to make a decision whether I would invest in the UK market or not. So from what I looked at the top sectors, services, manufacturing, construction, and tourism. I looked at the GDP growth. Currently, it dropped to minus 21.7. Unemployment rate is 3.9%. Inflation is 1%. The credit rating by S&P is AA. And they, from December 19, they looked at it and felt it was stable. Fitch looks at it and says there's a negative outlook. That is from May 2020.
Yeah, which COVID effect.
The stability is has a high level of stability, so that's good. I know we've had some issues.
Oh, I'll just raise some points again, just to. Oh, okay. No, carry on.
This is just my overview, right? Just in case of my 1 second overview.
Yes.
And then I just go straight into the GDP, and then I looked at the GDP in more detail, and I looked at it over 5 years, I think, or 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And if you look at it, it's been quite stable over the period. But then there's a slight drop, which can be acceptable in January. And then when we went to July, it just went all the way down, and that's minus 21.7, which is not good. But we would attribute that to COVID as well. So I looked at that and said stable prior to COVID and still interested in the UK, drop probably due to COVID pandemic.
Yes, well done. Perfect.
I went to the inflation rate and I looked at that one as well. And you can see it's been going up and down, fluctuating, and went down again. And from 0.6, I'm just going straight to where we are right now.
Yeah.
And from 0.6 is gone to 1%. And that I looked at it a bit more in detail, and I thought, okay, currently at 1% as of July 2020, it's jumped from 0.6 to 1%. And I thought, okay, this is not that good, but I'll still go ahead because it's been fair.
Actually, this is not fair on you. But I want you to see if you can explain this inflation rate slide in more detail.
Oh, you started.
No, go back. No.
No, that's fine.
Go back to.
And I tried to.
No, go back to the histogram, the next slide. That's a better one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a good one.
Okay, so in October, you can
like I said, it's not fair on you.
I know.
I want you to see. I want to see if you can figure out and give us some more information regarding this inflation up and down.
Okay. In October 2019, it's 1.5, so it's quite stable.
Yeah.
And then it drops a little bit. I think sometime just before, I'm assuming this is about December, it went down a bit. And then if it goes down, from my understanding, what you taught us, if I'm right, it means it's good.
Yes.
So we are benefiting from it. Our money is giving us more value for money. And then in January, it just jumped up again, 1.8.
Yes.
And then went down to 1.7, and then went down again. So we're a bit in a happy state.
Yeah.
And went down again in April. And then went down again 0.5. So it's been going down, and all of a sudden July is going back up again. So
is that a good thing?
I say it's not a good thing, because if inflation keeps going up, then we will not be getting enough for what we're paying for. Okay. Like you said, it's the same, and inflation.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a fair question, but you did a very good job. You did a very good job. But But let me add to that information,
Yeah.
and this is just for everybody's information. Inflation is a bit funny, and you have to look at inflation in more detail from the definition, because obviously if you understand the definition of inflation, you can derive more information from that. Because inflation says is a rate of increase of goods and services, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Now, what causes what causes the rate of goods and services to go up?
It could be
Sorry, I say what causes the rate. What causes prices to go up?
inflation.
No, I'm talking apart from inflation. What is it? What's actually happening in the economy that is making prices go up?
If we're not producing enough, I don't know if I'm right.
No, I'm talking of inflation now, the cost of basic goods and services. What's making the cost of your Weetabix to go up or the cost of your shoes to go up? Demand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if there's increased demand, of course, in a capitalist society, there's increased demand, the prices will go up too, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes with inflation, it's not exactly a bad, this is why we're talking about stability. We don't want it rising up too much or falling too much. But if you look at it in detail, this is why I say the question wasn't fair to you. If you look at it in detail, rising prices means probably the economy is booming and people are spending money, and that's why prices are going up. Now, the opposite is if nobody is buying your shirts, you know when Marks and Spencer and all, they do a sale, they start to cut their prices if there's no demand, isn't that right?
Correct.
So if there's no demand because nobody is buying, prices start to fall. Now, if prices are falling because there's no demand, it means it could mean that people are broke and people have no money and people have lost their jobs. Hence, they can't buy. So sometimes rapidly falling inflation is not a good sign.
Oh, right.
So if the inflation is falling rapidly, like you've seen from January 2020 to April, inflation started to fall rapidly. And of course, that is because people have been losing their jobs with the COVID, they've been followed, shops have been closed. So that falling inflation is because prices of goods and services too have fallen, and they have fallen because people are unemployed. People's salaries have been cut by half. So that's why you see that rapid fall. So of course, the government of UK, when they see that, when the Bank of England sees that and the government sees that, they see that this is not a good sign. It means our economy is not coping. So they try and put measures in place to see how they can stimulate the economy and get people buying again. So sometimes you seeing that increase in inflation might not necessarily be a bad sign.
Oh, right. Okay. So you have to look at it from both sides of the angle. It's not really like a...
Exactly. That's actually why I wanted to use your slide as a teaching tool. Okay. That yes, it's not sometimes just looking at the inflation blindly. You have to put everything into context too. So yes, and that is actually why we say, and this is another reason why you want to look at the GDP, the unemployment, and then all these parametrics over a couple of years, because what you want to see is stability. That's the key word. You don't want rapid rises or rapid falls for anything. So whether it's for the GDP, for the unemployment, for inflation, what you want to see is stability. Now, when you see sharp falls or sharp rises, then you need to then look at it in more detail and say, okay, what is causing this sharp fall? What is causing this sharp rise? And we can see this is a very good slide, because we all know with COVID started around February, March, isn't that right?
Yeah.
So with February, March, you can see the inflation went from 1.5. Initially, it was stable. You can see from the October you showed, 2019 until January, it's roughly between 1.3 and 1.8. Isn't that right?
Correct. Yeah.
So you can see that's the stability you're looking for. 1.3, 1.8. That's what UK inflation is usually ranging between, and the government tries to keep it that way. But of course, you can see in March, when COVID hit, it went from 1.5, and that was a big jump down to 0.8 compared to previous years and previous quarters. But of course, that can be explained by the COVID, people being laid off, people being followed, people having their salaries crashed, people not spending, prices falling. So that explains the sharp drop in the inflation rate, and then the drop again from 0.8 to 0.5. So now that it's now coming up to 0.6 and 1, that's a good sign that the economy is slowly recovering back to what you saw previously in October, where the inflation was between 1.3 and 1.8.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So carry on.
Okay.
But yeah, your slide just gave me the good opportunity to explain that.
Okay, that's good. The next one is unemployment. You can see that unemployment was very high in 2016 and it started going down and went down to 2019, which was good. And unemployment has started rising again to 2020.
No, that's not too bad.
So yeah, so we're in a good place. I thought it was really bad, this COVID. If we were to survive 2016, I'm sure we'll survive this stuff.
Yes.
So currently it's about 3.9%. It's throughout 2020, it's been 3.9%. So if I was just going to do basic maths, I probably would say on the average for over the 5 years is about 3.8%.
Which is not bad. So again, in fact, this is a good slide compared to the other one. You can see the stability.
Yeah.
It's up and down a bit, but not as much as the inflation.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's what you want to see, is that stability.
And this gives you that picture of
exactly
over the few months how it's going.
Exactly.
So we're in a good place in unemployment.
Yeah.
Okay, and then looked at the service sector. So because I said that, if you remember that when I started off, I said that there's top sectors are services, manufacturing, construction, and tourism.
Yeah.
So service sector is the highest sector in the UK. So I decided to go for that one.
Yep.
And service sector, it includes finance. I know finance is top, retail and entertainment and other ones as well. But service sector is 75% of the UK's GDP, which is very high.
Yeah.
Manufacturing production is less than 21%. Agriculture is 6.6%. So part of it is the entertainment services. I decided to go for that. I know finance is the big thing, but I decided to go for entertainment because something was going around Cineworld, and I thought, okay, I'd rather use this opportunity to do this research and also do my homework.
Yeah.
So entertainment services include tourism, film, and cinema. And the cinema companies include, like Cineworld, have the theatre market share. So the three, which is very amazing, largest cinema, don't know what they call it, multiplex circuits. I was a bit lazy not to bother about the three.
That's okay.
Remy says don't bother with all the stuff that's not necessary. So, well, the three largest cinemas in the UK is Cineworld, Odeon and View. And they take about 70% of the theatre market share.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And then the top six, which you can see on this list, the Nation Amusement, Picture House, and the other, just I'm not going to go through it, but these are there. You can see they're the top three, and then the other three are the top six. They cover 85%. But Cineworld alone has 24% of the market share.
Okay.
Yeah, but then
well done.
Yes, that's good. But then when you look at the Odeon and View, they're quite close. So there's a good competition.
Yeah.
They haven't monopolized the market.
Yeah. Well, I like what you've done. And again, this is a good learning tool because, again, like I said, everybody has been great today because, again, you've done your homework well. You've looked at the entertainment sector, and then when you came to the cinema companies, you've looked at the top companies in that sector, and you're now yourself going for the top one you're going for the number one.
Correct.
So you've done all your homework very well. You're not going to look for Empire Cinema that is 2.2% share, and you want to invest in that.
No need for that then.
Sorry?
I said there's no need for that. That's my hard-earned money.
Exactly. So but you can see that's the beauty of doing proper fundamental analysis. You don't go and make mistakes like that, because somebody could have come to tell you that, oh, Elly, I hear Empire Cinema is doing well. Go and put your money there. But now that you've done your homework, if you hear something like that, you just ignore them because you've done your homework.
Yeah. So I then went to the number one, and I said, how does Cineworld make money? Just to make sure that I'm in a good place. So I looked at how they do business, what generally, and I said, okay, in terms of making money, they look at admissions, which is tickets.
Yep.
They do box office. We saw this new movies coming out, first time movies coming out before they go out to anywhere else. They also do retail, food and drinks, and also advertising, and then other things. So most of their money comes from box office. And you can see that if you look at in 2017, wasn't much going on, but quite stable. So most of their things going on was 2017, you can see what it was. Then in 2018, it kind of peaked. All the box office, retail, everything was going on this time. And then you go to 2019, it dropped again, and it's been dropping a little bit. So you can see that admissions and box office, sorry, I think I'm confusing myself. I looked at the years, that's really incorrect. But you can see that admissions hasn't got much. They're not making too much money from admissions. That's what I was trying to explain. My apologies. Yeah. A lot of money, the revenue they get is from box office and retail. Yeah. So if box office and retail are not in a good place, then the cinema business is going to collapse.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, yes.
Yeah, so if you look at this, in 2019, they made $4.3 billion US dollars. And of which under 1.24 billion was generated from retail activities. So that if they have retail, then there's some money coming in. Yeah, they're making money. Yeah. So, and also they're not doing badly. 2018, 2019, they grew from 2.726 million. I'm not good at maths, to 275.
Oh, you don't need maths. You can just see the figures are higher. 275 is higher than 272. That's good.
Okay, so the most important thing to know here is if you want to make a decision in the Cineworld, make sure that the box office business is working and retail.
And retail, yes.
Yeah. So I looked at the history just generally to see where they are. Is this one dodgy company that's going to come and go? But they've been around for a while, 1995. Even though I'm older than them, so that's good. So that's the history. I don't really need to go through all this, but you can see that the progress made. They came into the UK 2004. They went onto the London Stock Exchange 2007. They acquired another company in the UK, and they've acquired another company, and they did an acquisition of an entertainment group, Regal.
Okay, so they've been gobbling up the small competition.
Yes, to build their...
Yeah.
Okay, so then I wanted to know look at the financials, which is what we've been here, waking up at 8 o'clock to sit down and look. I looked at the PE ratio. At the moment, it's 3.65. It's gone up to as of today, so it's undervalued. Their earnings per share is 13.1. So that's in 2019. So you can see the chat here. In 2015, it was 13.6.
And it dropped following it.
It went up. It went down. So they were less profitable in 2016. They became a bit more profitable again in 2017. And then all of a sudden in 2018, the big business came. Yeah. And they went to 22.5. Now they've gone down again in 2019. So you can see there's a bit of instability if you look at it. It's been going up and down.
Although I haven't said that from 2016 to 18, that's not bad. So for those 3 years, it was profitable.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. The earnings per share you have there is from
2019.
Do you have one from this year?
That's what this is the only one I saw. They showed. No, they didn't show for this year. Unless I need to correct it. Do you want us to have a look at it? Or
Yes.
Where do I go now? I think
let's go back to Hargreaves Lansdown.
Okay.
If we don't see it there, we'll go to Market Watch, because Market Watch tends to give you and I'll show you. Instead of trying to explain it, I'll show you. So let's search for Sinwald. Do you know the stock code?
No, I'm not yet there. Not there.
Okay. Oh no, go to shares. Go back to. Okay, there you go. You can see it. You can see. Type Sinwald again. And then there you go. And when it comes up, you will see the stock code next to it. So that's it.
Okay.
CINE.
Oh, yeah. It's going up.
Okay.
I've been watching it for the past 3 days. It's been going up.
Yeah. So
last time it was 2.38. The last time.
It's undervalued.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to financials. Go to financials.
Yeah.
So let's go. Okay. All right. So let's go to Market Watch. Like you said, this just stops at 2019. Let's go to Market Watch and see. Worst case scenario, we'll just Google Sinwald and its current earnings per share. So let's go to Market Watch. And again, you search. And now you know the code. Just put CINE. And hold on. Then let's see. Oops. Okay. That's okay. It's come up, Sinwald. So let's go to the overview. Keep scrolling down. No, sorry. Yeah. So you can see earnings per share is now. Don't look at the overview data. It shows, because in Market Watch on the overview data, it shows you the current earnings per share. So scroll down.
Okay.
You can see overview. So you can see the figures in overview. And then look at EPS is there.
What's EPS? Sorry, I'm missing it.
0.1.
I can't see. Where is it me?
No, just stop on that. It's close to where your cursor is.
I can see the P.
Good. Next to the P. What's that?
Oh, that's it. 0.1. Why is it in pounds then?
Because it's a British company.
Oh, sorry. Why am I asking that? I thought it was in US. Okay, they're showing the UK version of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you can see the earnings per share has dropped further. So what was the last one you showed us? 0. What?
It was saying 13.1. Am I right?
Bring up your slide again.
Where do I go now? Sorry, a second.
Yeah, so you can see it was 13. Oh, there's in cents there.
In cents, yeah. That's why I was a bit.
So if you convert that to pounds, what's it? I can't do the maths.
Even if we were to do it one is to one, I know that. Even if we were to do it one is because there's not much of a difference in the pounds and the dollar. Sometimes you £50, you might be spending 40. Say 50.
Okay, let's assume you say that. Although you should do the correct conversion, but let's assume we just convert it. That would be 0.1. Sorry, that would be
1.3.
1.3 pounds. Isn't that right? For what you're saying.
I need to ask mathematicians. I don't really not good at this.
Yeah, I'm getting my. Or no, to convert that cents to dollars, you have to divide by 100. So if you divide that by 100, that would be $0.13.
So let me just do that converter just to give us that clarity. The converter Money converter. I just want to. Sorry for taking up time, but I thought we'd just do it and get it right.
That's okay.
Where do we go? So one, what am I going to put now? Is anyone?
0.13.
0.13.
And then convert that to pounds.
To pounds. Is it not showing?
No. Go to the drop-down menu. And look, just scroll down. You'll see pound there.
Yeah, I didn't know it was in the drop down. I thought you had to type it.
No. Go back up. Usually pounds at the top.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or you can try GPP.
GPP.
No, B for Bravo. G.
Okay, great.
Bravo.
Pound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then what happens here?
Or put British pound. Click OK on this, your cookie manager. I think that's what's obscuring the screen. Now, if you click, oops.
Okay.
Now, if you click on the drop-down menu again.
Yeah,
you see pound. Oh.
These business people don't need you.
Yeah, because the major currencies are usually at the top. Okay, so go and get change to 0.13.
0.13. And
so that's 0.09.
Yeah, which they said 0.10, like 10.
Yeah, so it's gone. Yeah. Now let's go back to Market Watch and see.
Okay, so 0.09
was the last one in 2019.
Okay, so we go back to Market Watch, right? Market Watch.
Oh, did you close the page? We already brought it up.
It was open. Okay. So
yeah. Is the next? No, is the next? Okay, it's okay. You can search for it again.
I don't know what happened. I thought it was open. Okay.
Yeah, you've got quite a few tabs open, but anyway, you can search for it. CINE. No, UK. No. Scroll down. Scroll where you see UK CINE. UK CINE.
UK CINE.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's 0.10, like 10, which is correct then.
No, what was it? What did you see? When you did your calculation with the converter, what was it?
It was 0.09. So let's just call that 910.
So it's okay. So the earnings per share has been sort of stable then from 2019 to current one.
Yeah.
So it hasn't dropped.
No.
So there you go.
Okay. So we're in a good place, is it? Is that what it means then?
You have to tell us now.
All right. Okay. Well, if I compare it from 2018 to there's been a sharp drop, but we see how it goes. The dividend is 9.52, so we get extra pounds, which is good. Then I looked at some of the part of the fundamental analysis. I looked at external factors, which is what's going on at the moment, and I looked at some from 2015, the market was going up. 2016, it really went up. Then 18, it went down a bit. You can see it's gone up again. May 2019, it picked, and then it all dropped again. Yes. This is the COVID period, so that makes sense why it happened. Yes. And if you look at it much closer, this is about February when it happened. So that's more of a time. And it's picking up again. It picked up in May and it's going up again. So there's some positive signs. But then
it still looks flat. It still looks flat though.
Okay. So then I looked at mitigating actions and saying, okay, what are they doing about this? And is this just going to be how it's going to be? So I looked at all the...
Oh, that's very good. And that's a very good point. Actually, I like what you're doing. And let me just quickly highlight what you're doing. Because, again, that's the beauty of the stock market. You find that some companies like Amazon are quite expensive. You might want to wait for them for the price to fall. But again, some companies like this might be cheap. They might be on the floor. They might be looking like they're down and out. But it is for you to now do your investigation to see if there's anything they're doing that's going to make you recover, which is what I like that you're doing now. Carry on.
Okay. So these are the safety measures. I don't want to go into much of it, but one of the interesting parts, most of us know what's going on with the safety measures cuts, but one of the interesting parts that I saw and I looked at is that they're going to be staggering their film times. So it'll be a bit more staggered. We all know about the face coverings and stuff. And they'll also be doing the social distancing. You can see that there is more spaces. So that means to me, they will be having fewer cells, because they will be having fewer people at the same time. So that was a bit of a concern to me. And they'll be staggering their film times. The other things we know already about what's going on, contactless payment and online booking. Then also a part of their mitigation actions, I did have a look and I saw that some popular actors in the industry are promoting films and the box office. So the likes of Tom Hanks and all that stuff, they're promoting box office, and the British Cinema Associations. They have this new Hash Love Cinema thing going on. Okay, so another thing that I looked at then as well was like other external factors. Sorry, my thing's a bit mixed up a little bit.
No, it's all good.
The government has put in 30 million a cultural recovery fund. They are pumping money into the system, like you just said and you pointed out, to boost the market, to make people start going back to the cinemas. So they've done that, and the funny thing is that the money is only going to the independent cinemas. And if I am correct to say this, I think Cineworld is not independent. Is that right? Because
you have to find out.
But I thought if something has gone public, is on the stock exchange, is no longer independent.
Yeah, true. No, they are publicly listed companies. They're public, but you still have to find out, because obviously when it comes to independent, they talk about independent movies or blockbuster movies or ones that are associated with major film houses. So you need to get clarity on what they mean by that.
So this is my misconception then. I thought independent cinemas are the ones that are not on the stock exchange. So I probably got that a bit wrong. But I'll
because it might be a different definition for the cinema factor, because they're independent movies, which meaning that the movies that were done by private budgets or small budgets.
Okay. All right, I'll investigate that then.
Yeah.
So, but when I did that, then I did my investigation, and they said that 55% of these are independent. So I made an assumption here that the Odeon and View, which was not on the stock exchange, were independent. So I will have to investigate that a bit more. And their
But you might be right. But yeah, do investigate.
Yeah. Their competitors are Odeon and View. So I said, okay, these are the independent ones. I also look at the business concepts, and I looked at TV and Netflix are competing with the cinemas as well.
Oh, okay. Actually, I have to highlight, you've done a very good thing there. And again, it just remind everybody of what Elly has just done, which is wonderful. Because when you're checking the competition of the company you want to invest in, you also have to think about the business concept. So like Elly has done, which is wonderful, you're not just looking at Odeon and View as the competitors. When you're looking at the concept, she's looking at TV and Netflix. So that's job well done, Elly. Top marks. Carry on.
Am I going to get my £25 as well? So then one of the things that was on the BBC was about is streaming killing the cinema industry. So I had to look at it, and the conclusion from the BBC, they said not really. But 40% of Netflix. Are you
going to believe BBC?
Sorry?
Are you going to believe BBC?
I'm not, but I'm not. I'm doing my analysis. I'm taking information as news. And they said 40% of the Netflix accounts are in the USA. 40% of it, and my market is the UK Cineworld. So even though the parent company is from the USA, but my market is the UK. So 40% of Netflix accounts are in the USA, and then they said it's about 139 million. So I then looked at it and I said, okay, but then when I looked into the news a bit more, 45.1 billion of the cinema industry, that's the revenue they made in 2018. And then Netflix, who are their indirect competitors, were criticized because they're meant to be just showing films on their websites or on their platform, but they still go out and try to steal business from the cinema by going to show the box office at small theaters, which they shouldn't be doing. They should just take the film and show, but now they're going to the box office.
Who said they shouldn't do it?
I think they're not allowed to do it. I think that's not how their business model should be working.
No, but this is the beauty of capitalism. They're not breaking any rules. They
Okay.
want to do that. And you just showed yourself with your wonderful presentation. You showed yourself. Where do they get their big revenue?
Which ones? Who? Netflix?
No, Cineworld. Where do they get their big revenue?
From box office.
Exactly. So why don't you think Netflix don't want to get a bit of that pie?
All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So they're going to face, and again, this is why I'm saying that your analysis is very good, because although BBC can say what they like, you and I know there are a lot of people in UK that have Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
And it might only just keep increasing as the COVID goes on, and people might get used to Netflix. So BBC can say what they like, but the reality is, even people in Africa have Netflix account. I opened my Netflix account when I was based in Nigeria. So again, like you rightly said, this is competition. And now that they're now showing box office, which is where Cineworld gets the majority of their money from, you have to watch that space.
Thank you. So then I looked at some little news going around, and there's one of the cinemas around in Newcastle or somewhere like that. They were facing some allegations of harassment and assault. So I said, okay. And the employees were complaining about it, and it went to, it's been the BFI, the British Film Industry, are investigating it. So I thought, okay, this is not good news. But so my conclusion in this, from this news, what I read was that employee satisfaction and customer service will be expected in the cinema industry going forward. So I think that's going to be part of the competition amongst each other to make sure the employees are happy. If not, they'll throw things out that will affect them.
Yeah.
Also, 40% of the employees in the cinema industry are aged 30 years. So my assumption or conclusion here is the cinema industry will keep growing because the people are young, so they'll still be growing with the industry. If the average age is 30 years amongst them. Yeah. 50%. Okay, so moving on from that, I had to now make the big decision.
Exactly.
Invest in Cineworld or not. So there's a no, there's a yes, and there's a maybe. Maybe.
I like that.
I am, which you said we should avoid. Just get on with it. I now move to the next slide, which is interesting. But invest in Cineworld, I said no. And I remember you be saying, be very careful, just make your own decision and stuff like that. I picked up this line and I said, don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results.
Oh, well done. Awesome. That is a brilliant statement. I'm going to adopt that statement. Okay, so that is brilliant.
So then my reasons, just in summary, is the UK GDP is down. Unemployment is about currently is 3.9, but it's forecasted to rise from 3.9. So people might not be paying for
cinemas,
and it's a non-essential, which we know.
You can live without it.
TV or stuff, Netflix. And the EPS is been fluctuating. You saw it in 2015. It went to 13.6, and you can see how it's been going up and down. Yeah. Impact and the government fund has been injected into it. So I would have to investigate that independent bit again to make sure that the independent does not mean differently from what I thought it was.
Yeah, and also, like you rightly said, that government fund, if it's going to their competitors, that's not helpful. Yes, is Cineworld going to get part of that money, or is it all going to their competitors?
That was why, so I need to figure out what that independent means. Then their competitors, like we said, is Netflix. And there's news that it may be privatized by a Hollywood studio. So I don't know whether that's good or bad. I thought I was going to ask you that question, whether is that a good thing if something's privatized and not? I don't know what that means.
Well, they will just buy it and take it off the stock market.
Okay. So what happens to our money if we invest?
Well, they'll give you an offer.
At any price, or is it what we...
Well, at the current market price or a bit more. It depends on what they say. This is where it's like being in the market. If they say, look, this company is going to go bankrupt and you're all going to lose your money, you better accept half of what we're going to offer you. Otherwise, you're going to lose everything. So it's a negotiation.
Okay. So
if it's a company that is just like, you see TikTok, you know about the TikTok news.
Yes. Yeah.
You see all the companies are fighting to buy TikTok. Microsoft, Walmart, they're all jumping in to try and buy TikTok.
Yeah.
So with that, they're going to demand high top dollar.
Okay, because they have more competitors, more.
Exactly. There's a high demand for it,
yes,
and TikTok is one of the top companies now. It's a rave, it's a fashion. So it's a company on the up. So you know shareholders will definitely benefit from that takeover or that buyover because they're going to offer them premium prices.
Okay.
So that's why I say it all depends on the state. If they're coming to you because they're trying to save you, then that's a different matter. You're not going to be able to demand much.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So Cineworld is unprofitable at the moment, but on my watch list.
Yeah.
My references are from here. This is where I got my information from. And I just want to use this opportunity to say thank you to my fellow investors and to the trainer for imparting knowledge and wisdom throughout the course.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. You've done a wonderful job and well done. Thank you very much. Well done, Elly.